Hello, everybody. My name is John Mulholland, and today I'll be giving a speech on net neutrality. So to start, in 2007, a University of California's communications professor once said that 94% of information is on the internet. 94% of what humans have ever known is on the internet. That is a huge chunk of the information pie that is on the internet. And now, what if I were to tell you that there was a change in legislation that gave major corporations the ability to limit your ability to see this information, this 94% of humans' information? This change in legislation was known as the repeal of net neutrality. And in this speech today, I'm going to explain to you what it is, why it was an issue that it was repealed, and the impact that we could see from it. So first things first, what is it? Net neutrality is limited by the FCC. It's basically watched over by the FCC. The FCC is a Federal Communications Commission whose job is to watch communication in the U.S. and make sure that it has a fair market in the U.S. What is net neutrality? Net neutrality gives power back to the users over internet service providers. Internet service providers like Verizon, Comcast, T-Mobile, etc. Net neutrality essentially tells the internet service providers that regardless of how much internet I use, and regardless of where I'm using my internet, you cannot limit my internet usage. It is up to me to be able to view all this information as I'd like to see it. So to put this into example, Verizon owns Yahoo. It would be in Verizon's best interest that Yahoo succeeds, because the more money Yahoo makes, the more money Verizon makes. How does Yahoo make money? They make money mostly off of advertisements. So in other words, you click on yahoo.com, you see news portals, you see advertisements on the left, advertisements on the right. In general, you see moneymakers for Verizon. As such, it'd be in Verizon's best interest to make it so that way Yahoo does well. In order for Yahoo to do well, what they could do is they could slow down the speed of Google. They can slow down the speed of Bing. They can slow down the speed of Opera, etc. They can slow down the speed of all Yahoo's competitors. And look at that. You, as a Verizon user, you as probably a third of the people in this room are now a Yahoo user. You are now making Verizon money every time you use the internet. It is not okay that this is a method of money earning. So now I'm going to explain to you how this was repealed. Ajit Pai was the chairman of the FCC when this was repealed. He was appointed by President Trump because chairmen have to be appointed by a president. This is an issue for two reasons. One, we had no say of the chairman that was appointed. And two, even you could argue that Trump was our say in it, but he lost the majority of the vote. So therefore, the majority of America disagreed with Trump's decision to become president, which means most likely they might not have agreed with his decision to put Ajit Pai on. And now I'm going to show you a video of Ajit Pai himself. It is ironic that this is the dude who put together net neutrality. I don't know if you guys can hear this. If you can't, I'm going to still just speak over him in an effort to. Chairman of the FCC. Recently, there's been quite a bit of conversation. My plan is the story. Things will still be able to do something after these Obama era elections. It's still grandeur for the. You guys get the point. He goes on throughout the rest of this video, just basically saying, here's what you could still do. And I'm going to leave it right here. This person caused the repeal of net neutrality. He single-handedly spearheaded it. He got several threats about this repeal, and he still went through with it. So now I'm going to explain to you the effects of this. So first things first, if we want to go to a more personal, computer issue, we want to go to a more personal effect of this, there was Comcast. Many of you here have Comcast. I believe it's actually the most popular internet service provider in Maryland. Comcast made an effort to essentially limit your internet usage after 1.2 terabytes. So during quarantine, they wanted to make it so that you had to pay extra for every 50 gigabytes after 1.2 terabytes of usage. That is not very much, especially if you're forced to online school, especially if you're forced to use a computer. They're now price gouging over the quarantine that we did not choose to be in. And lo and behold, it went through. Several people were overcharged, and that's what caused it. But the good thing is, they took it back. Here's a quote from this exact article that I popped up. They had to delay it because there was so much pressure from customers and lawmakers in states that were either suing Comcast or were dropping Comcast. And this is an example of what you can do later on. You could drop the internet service providers that try to abuse this lack of net neutrality, that try to limit your information that you see in this world. Another example of what's been caused by net neutrality is what is happening in some countries like Poland, who either didn't have net neutrality to begin with or did not enforce net neutrality. This. Then Poland has a very similar model, but I like this model better because it very much simplifies it. They're saying that no matter what, if you want to have access to those three, then you have to pay a certain amount. Those three, you have to pay a certain amount. Those three, you have to pay a certain amount. And next thing you know, they overcharged you for a service that you already had prior to net neutrality. This is an issue. You no longer have access to the information that you used to have, and they're purposefully controlling it. I'm sure that if Verizon had their way, they'd give you free access to Yahoo, but charge you for Google. And this is why it's an issue. In summation, I want all of you to act against the ISPs in the event that they attempt to abuse this lack of net neutrality. Please cancel subscriptions if you're able to. I understand that the competition's rough sometimes when it comes to internet service providers, but cancel if you can if they decide to abuse you. Or go to your legislators, because sometimes it's a state-by-state basis, and we want to make sure that our state stays the way it should be. Internet service providers will slowly push this norm out everywhere. And guess what? If this is where we are right now, and they push it over to over here to where it's like, oh, hey, we're just charging you if you use too much internet, then they're going to push it over to here. Then next thing you know, they're charging you, oh, we're charging you for streaming because your streaming uses a lot of things, and they keep pushing and pushing until eventually the norm is what you see on the screen right here. So I urge you, please go act on net neutrality. Thank you.